What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's get into NXT presents Halloween Havoc night 1 for October the 24th, 2023. Pretty solid show for the most part. I enjoyed it. And as you guys can tell, I'm still under the weather. Still fighting this cold that I have. I'll probably like this for another few days, and then it should start to go away on its own. I'm gonna get back to taking Dayquil, NyQuil, and drinking hot water and honey, along with some cough drops and everything else. Maybe some Gatorades to have electrolytes in my system. So I'll probably end up doing that for a couple more days. But let's go ahead and get into Halloween Havoc. So, Shotzi and Scarlett Bordeaux, they hosted the show. They welcomed us to the show and everything else, and then we went on to the first match. I forgot to mention that the band known as, is it New Year's Day or New Year's, New Year's Day, they welcomed us to the show. It was pretty cool, but not really that important. I don't know why they did it. That was kind of dumb, but it is what it is. I liked it though. So this leads us into our first match of the night, which is Roxanne Perez versus Kiana James in a Devil's Playground match. And oh my God, this thing looked so damn cheesy. It looks so damn cheesy, man. Oh my God. And the match was okay. It was solid. So towards the end of the match, Roxanne Perez brings in Kiana James's purse, and she hits her with it, and then she hits the Pop Rocks on the loaded purse bag for the 1, 2, 3. So this was a pretty decent match. The crowd was into it. Roxanne Perez winning is fine. She's kind of been directionless as of late. Not just her, but also Kiana James. Both of them have been directionless for the past, I want to say, 2 or 3 months. They've been directionless. I don't know. But Roxanne Perez winning is fine. Pretty okay little match to start the night off. Moving on. So the metaphor, they run into Shotzi and Scarlett. So Scarlett says that her tarot card reads that Noam Dar is destined to go on an interesting journey. And then he says he ended up believing in that hocus pocus stuff. And then while all this is going on, Tozawa, he steals the Heritage Cup, and then Noam Dar starts to freak out. It was kind of funny. So a pretty cool little comedic segment. I mean, I like Noam Dar. He's fine, but he's been in WWE since, 2016? So 7 years. It's crazy that he's been there that long. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And then let's not forget, he spent, a significant time in NXT UK. He spent, maybe, 3 or 4 years there. He was there until the promotion closed its doors. So, yeah. Moving on. So, we get a pre-recorded interview with Vic Joseph and Carmelo Hayes. So, Vic Joseph wants to address the elephant in the room. He basically asked the question, did Carmelo Hayes attack Trick Williams? Carmelo wants to know whether this is an interrogation or an interview. Trick wanted the NXT Championship just like he did, but to take him out for a championship, to brutalize him, that's crazy. Vic then brings up Carmelo's big match next week against Ilya Dragunov. He asks, what will Carmelo have to do differently this time as the challenger? He says, how do you beat one of the best in the world? That's the question he's asking himself. His motivation is having the moniker of him. How do you walk around claiming to be him without nothing to show for it? He's not here to be second best. He's removing all distraction or tricks. So Vic asked Carmelo if he would still be number one contender if Trick did participate in the Fatal 4-Way. Carmelo says absolutely, because when push comes to shove, he's got to do what he has to do. And then Carmelo walks out of the interview. Excuse me, sorry about that. Sorry. Let me get some water before we go on to the next thing. Sorry about that. Got a little cough. All right, I'm back. I apologize. This leads us into the next match, which is Lexis King, a.k.a. Brian Pillman Jr. versus Dante Chen, who's been in NXT 2.0 for about a little over a year, probably close to 2 years now. I remember him back in 2021, like late 2021, when they rebranded to NXT 2.0 at the time. And basically, Dante, he's been injured a lot, basically. And he's been doing stuff on Level Up for a while now. But this match was decent, but to me, it seems like Dante Chen got a little bit too much offense in. So Lexis King gets the win via a modified swinging net breaker off the middle rope for the 1-2-3, which I like. Booker T was great on commentary, like he always is. He goes to Vic and says, "What do you call that? What do you call that, bruh? What do you call that?" And Vic's like, "I don't know. You got to ask him." But the crowd was into it. Lexis King being a heel was fine. That's great. It does make sense. But I'm glad that he's there, And maybe he could have been the one to take out Trick. You never know. So it's interesting to see where this goes. But Lexis King is going to be successful in NXT for sure. And he will revert back to the Brian Pillman name anyway. He's gonna revert back to that in due time. Moving on. So this leads us into Kelani Jordan versus Ariana Grace. It's the semifinals in the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. So my girl Kelani Jordan gets the win, which is great. So she wins via the split-legged moonsault. I'm surprised there was no post-match attack by Ariana Grace, which is kind of weird. But it makes sense. I'm glad my girl is going to the finals, and she is my pick to win. I like Lola Vice, but I feel like Kelani Jordan needs this more than Lola Vice, if we're being honest. She needs this a lot more. This would establish her a lot more, Next, moving on, we get a Von Wagner vignette. And so Robert Stone calls Von Wagner his friend, and that motivates Von to get better, and he wants Robert Stone to kick Braun Breaker's ass. So that's fine there. This should be like a squash match next week. I'm hoping maybe like a 2 or 3 minute match. So maybe like Robert Stone does get to smack Braun once or twice, and then Braun just obliterates him, spears him a couple times, puts him in the Steiner recliner, and that's when we see Von Wagner make his big return. So that's probably what will happen next week, and I hope it does go down like that. Next, so the Creed brothers, they come out next. They get on the mic, and they still want to fight Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. They cut a really good promo. Shotzi and Scarlett were there. They spun the wheel. Well, no, Ivy Now spun the wheel, my bad. She spun the wheel. And so it landed on a tables, ladders, and scares match next week. So that's going to be pretty cool there. That's interesting. So I like that. So hopefully this will continue the feud between the Creed brothers and the Garzas, which I'm fine with. Because I'm a fan of both teams, if we're being honest. And both teams actually need this. Both of them actually need this. Who wins? I don't know. Who I want to win would be the Garzas. They need it more than the Creeds. Because remember when we got all those vignettes and everything else for the past few weeks? Within the last basically a month and a half, we got a bunch of vignettes from them and segments from them. So they kind of deserve to beat the Creed brothers. Moving on. So we get a Nathan Frazier vignette. He's still doing his what's that show called? Damn, I can't think of the name right now. Oh, the talk show. I forgot what it's called. Who cares? But he has his eyes on the throwing Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship, and he's gonna challenge him next week for the NXT North American Championship. And then he says, if Mommy can take your balls back for a week, or give him back his balls or whatever. So pretty good stuff there. Next, this leads us into Tony D and Stacks versus Chase U and which is Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, with JC Jane and Thea Hale for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Very good little match here. Towards the end of the match, JC Jane comes down. She's wanting Andre Chase to use the crowbar that Tony D normally uses, but he doesn't use it at all. And then Thea Hale, she gets onto the apron, and then this allows for Andre Chase to get a roll-up victory on, I believe it was Tony D who took the pin. So that makes sense, because Tony D inadvertently knocks JC Jane off the apron, and then that allows for Chase U to get the win. So this makes sense. Really good stuff there. I'm glad it happened. Look, I like Tony D and Stacks. I do. I like them, but to me, they're better off as heels. And I figured they weren't going to have a long title reign anyway. They just weren't. I can't remember when they won those titles. I know it was the last time we had a pay-per-view. It was before the Great American Bash. It was before that. I want to say Stand and Deliver. Okay, yeah, Stand and Deliver back in WrestleMania weekend. So they had him for about 4 months. That's not too bad of a reign. That's not too bad, but but it could be better. But it's fine. But this progresses the story with Chase U and everything else. This progresses their story, and it does make sense for them to win. So this helps out Chase U, and I'm glad that they are champions. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in due time if Tony D and Stack could they get the tag titles back. I don't know, or they could be doing well, they want Chase U to have all the gold, that being Thea Hale and JC Jane, along with Andre Chase and Duke Hudson having all the tag gold. We'll talk about that when we get there anyway. So, moving on. So, Mackenzie Mitchell, she has a backstage interview with Baron Corbin. So, last week, Baron Corbin was seconds away from becoming the new number one contender for the NXT Championship. Baron Corbin doesn't like triple threat matches. I share of him in that sentiment as well. I hate them. I despise them. They're fun to play with on video games and stuff like that. But in real life, no. Excuse me. So he puts in the hard work last week, and the other people reap the benefits. So Corbin delivered the damage, and Carmelo Hayes took the advantage. Corbin says he did everything in his power to win the match. McKenzie asked Corbin if he was the person responsible for attacking Trick Williams last week. If Corbin wanted to take out Trick, he would have done it to his face. Corbin didn't like anything about Trick. He hates his music. He hates how he walks. He hates how he talks. He hates everything about him. It could have been anybody who attacked him. The only thing that Corbin cares about is the NXT Championship. Corbin says to Ilya Dragunov better have said it on a swivel if he retains next week. And I'm just like, oh my God, no. No, I do not fucking want Baron Corbin to face Dragunov again. Can we not do that, please? Next, this leads us into Blair Davenport versus Gigi Dolan in a lights out match. We've had one of those before. I believe it happened earlier in the year. I can't remember when, but I know we had one earlier this year for sure. I just can't remember when and who it was. But anyway, this was a really good match here. So Blair Davenport, she delivers the Falcon Arrow to the table on the floor, and then Davenport wins via the Kamigoya knee for the 1-2-3, which is great. So I'm glad she won. This makes sense. I like Gigi, and I'm a fan of her work, but she's lost a major step or two. Like, I don't know what's wrong with Gigi. I don't know what's wrong with her at all, but she's lost a major step for whatever reason. She's gone like 2 steps back. She's not like what she used to be. I don't know what the reason is for that, but Gigi needs to do better, I would say. I mean, I don't know. But I'm glad that Blair Davenport gets a really decent win. Where do you go for her going forward? I don't know. I would love for her to be NXT Women's Champion. I think that would be good for her. If not, then just put her on the main roster, because the main roster always needs new female talent. That's what I would do. Have her be a heavy for somebody for a little bit, and then have her, have her own little singles run on the main roster. I think she'd be fine on Raw or SmackDown. It wouldn't matter the brand. She's just that damn good. Moving on. So Carmelo Hayes doesn't have time for Shotzi and Scarlett's Mind Games. They're mentioning that he might be the one who attacked Trick, but he's like, nah, I don't believe in that stuff. It's a bunch of hocus pocus. So I forgot to mention that Baron Corbin, he mentioned Wes Lee. He could have done it as well. I remember somebody in my comment section mentioned that as well. Maybe it could have been Wes Lee. So I hope that it is Wes Lee. I hope it is. Because we haven't seen Wes Lee since the Great American Bash. Well, no, the Go Home show for the Great American Bash. It's been a while since we've seen Wes Lee. It's been a minute. Moving on. So, Fallon Henley, she dresses up as Tiffany Stratton during her interview with Sarah Strieber. That was funny. So, there was a massive brawl that took place. It was great. It took place at the NXT Watch Party. Fallon Henley does an excellent Tiffany Stratton impression. It was great. I loved it. I laughed. I laughed. It was really good shit there. Moving on. So, we get a sit-down interview with Vic Joseph and Ilya Dragunov. So, Vic basically thanks Ilya for taking the time. He said that Ilya's been champion for almost a month. What has it been like now to be the champion and no longer chasing the championship? So Ilya responds by saying that he comes from Germany. He moved from Russia to Germany when he was like 4 or 5 years old. He mentioned about how it was his destiny to become the NXT champion. And those words weren't hollow words. Since I was a child, life was a struggle. My family moved from Russia to Germany. We had nothing. I learned really fast. I can endure pain as long as it has a reason. He said he recently went home. His son was holding this title for the very first time. And the look in his eyes, he looked at me with pride in his father. And this is the exact motivation to carry on as a great champion. I'm like, damn, that is so good. I love that. And then he says, you're in the main event at Havoc Night 2 against Carmelo Hayes. What's the mindset you're heading into the match? Dragunov says, just because I walk into Havoc as champion, my attack doesn't change. It might even intensify because the pain it took to achieve this. I recognize this will be another classic. I might bend, but I won't break. Carmelo Hayes will break exactly like it did at No Mercy. And then Vic's final question was, what do you have to do maybe a little bit differently in this match to attend your NXT Championship? Dragunov responds by saying, Vic, I don't understand the question because I don't adjust to anyone. My opponent adjusts to me. Carmelo went into this fight as a desperate man, desperate to regain this championship. But I believe Carmelo is not fully focused on this title like he used to be. My mind has been on this championship for a very long time. Carmelo can't stay the same, and this will be his downfall. The intangibles will be the deciding factor. This represents 30 years of sacrifice. It's the visible proof that I am. He said something in Russian, I forgot. Bizarre, whatever. It's German. My bad. It's German. I forgot what it's called in German. It's like indestructible in German or something like that. I don't know, but I was like, oh shit, I am down for this shit. Sign me up. Ilya is so damn good. He's so damn good. I'm sorry, guys. My nose is like stopped up like crazy. I apologize for that. So let's lead this into. Oh, before I move on, so Carmelo Hayes was watching all this in the back. So interesting stuff there. Next, second semifinals match of the night. Lola Vice with Elektra Lopez versus Carmen Petrovic. This is the semifinals. Semifinals. So Lola Vice gets the win via the spinning heel kick for the 1-2-3, which was great. Moving on. So Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, they interrupt Chase U's championship celebration. Chelsea Green is ready to issue a formal complaint. Jesse James says that they can direct them to Shawn Michaels' office. Not only that, but they also want a shot at the at the WWE Women's Championships. Great. So that's what I mentioned earlier on. So they might want to do a scenario where Chase U has all the tag gold, which would be great. I think that'd be pretty cool there. So, because Chase U, for the last couple years, have always been the bride. I mean, I've always been like the bridegroom. I mean, they've always, basically been on the outside looking in, never on the, well, you know what I'm saying. They've never really been, real serious as a faction or whatever. They've always been kind of like comedic, but they're decent. So they might do a scenario where they'll have all the gold, maybe. I don't know. Moving on. So Braun Breaker, he's backstage with Carmelo Hayes. He pokes fun at him. Carmelo says that his focus should be on Ilya. Braun knows that both of them will be the talk of the industry for the foreseeable future. Brian will do whatever it takes to succeed, and he's glad that Mella went down that path and took out his best friend. Brian says that if Mella brings this verse to him next week, he'll get back his NXT Championship. Brian Breaker will put Mr. Stone into the hospital and tells Mella to keep doing his thing. And then we get the main event. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria for the NXT Women's Championship. And my girl, Jade Cargill, she was out there. And it was great. I love that. That was tremendous. This was a fantastic match. This was a great match. So, Lyra hit a couple of the roundhouse kicks. Becky kicked out a couple of those. Becky hit not one but two manhandle slams, and Lyra kicked out of those. And then she went for the disarmor a couple times, but Lyra got out of that. And then Becky goes for a nasty DDT, which was great. And Lyra kicked out of that. But in the end, Lyra gets the win. Becky goes for the manhandle slam. But Lyra counters it with like a cradle cover for the 1, 2, 3, which was great. So I like that shock value right there. So post-match, Becky hands the title over to Lyra, and then Becky hugs Lyra to close the show. I thought Becky was going to turn heel, but she didn't. And Lyra is the new NXT Women's Champion. This is fine. This makes sense. I'm glad. So I'm guessing Becky's going to go back to the main roster. She might want her rematch, might not, but she's going to go back to the main roster. So I do think that Becky elevated this championship very well. It was almost close to a 2-month run, I believe. And that's good, you know. Who takes it from Lyra? I don't know. I would assume Jade Cargill. But she's got a plethora of challengers waiting for her. Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill. There's tons of people, tons of women that you could, feud Lyra with. So this was a great move here. Overall, Halloween Havoc Night 1 was decent. A lot of women's matches were on the show. It was like a good chunk of the show, but most of them were pretty okay. Chase winning the tag titles was fine. That's fine. Lyra winning is fine as well. The debut of Lexis King was great. I enjoyed that. So overall, it was a pretty decent show. Hopefully the ratings can reflect this. We'll see how they look. But what did you guys think of Halloween Havoc? Let me know. Like, comment below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.